Hey, y'all. Lindsay here, Find Fearless Coaching. And this is a Fearless Life interview series, episode 8. And I am absolutely, I have chills right now, absolutely thrilled to introduce my guest, Miss Jennifer Grace. Hello, Jen. How are you?
Hello, Lindsay. I'm so grateful that you had me on the show today. And I'm so excited to just be here and share, you know, all that I can share.
Amazing. Okay, just a quick introduction here. So Jen has a long list of accolades, but most importantly, she's a Hay House author, a radio show host, and a lead trainer for Clarity Catalyst, a course based on Stanford University's master's degree course in mindfulness and emotional intelligence. She is born in Brooklyn and based in Miami. Maybe not anymore. I'll let her tell you about that. But she has a diverse background and experience. So as an actress, a Wall Street banker, entrepreneur, mother, and author. She has made her a favorite mentor and a diverse array of clients, from small business owners to artists, single mothers, prominent business leaders. She specializes in working with people who feel stuck in their career, are looking to transition to a dream job, or who simply want to overcome obstacles to success and growth. So welcome, Jen. It's great to have you here. Just from reading that introduction, it seems like you've lived almost numerous lifetimes in one life. Can you tell us a little bit about your journey on how you ended up where you are today?
Yeah. So yeah, there's definitely been quite a few iterations, which I think makes it fun. I'm always in awe when somebody says, I've been working at the same job for 30 years. I'm like, wow, that's a lot.
It's amazing. It's a huge accomplishment.
Yeah, and I hope that I continue to reinvent myself. Actually, I have a whole new passion now, which is funny. It's a little bit of full circle. I'm now very much into trading stocks again. So that's like my mornings is now doing day trading and swing trading. So that's kind of interesting. But yeah, you know, uh, coming out of college, didn't really know anything. And I think that when you come out of college sometimes and you didn't go to become a doctor or a lawyer or something very specific, you're not creating your life. Life is just kind of meeting you where you are, and opportunities are there and you take them or not. And nothing is really so intentional, and you fall into things. And so, it's like the guy I'm dating, his brother works at Jack LaLanne Bally's Fitness. Next thing you know, I have a job. But then like next thing you know, I'm, the youngest person ever to be promoted to manager and making more than anybody in the entire company, at a very young age. So that I was like, oh, okay. And then, the hours are so long. And so like just one day randomly being on the phone with a friend of mine that I grew up in Brooklyn, and they're like, you can make the same money, only double coming here. And so, as a 20-year-old, what do I care about? I care about making money and going out and, dancing all night. Like that's my life.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I'm just going with the flow. And okay, then I find myself on Wall Street and fall into that just totally randomly. And then the next thing you know, like meeting my ex-husband, getting married, and just like things were just kind of happening to me. And life was good and fun and all of that. And I always loved acting. So when I did marry my ex-husband, he said to me, like, what do you want to do? And my first passion was always acting. And, when I did graduate college, I actually had a one-way ticket to Los Angeles. And my father said to me, well, you have two choices, my friend. He said, you come home to New York and you will have an apartment, a car, and you will have a nice chunk of money to get you started.
You'll be totally set up.
Totally set up. But if you go out to LA, I am not agreeing with that. I don't think that's a good idea. I think you're going to get eaten up alive. You're going to become a waitress. And I'm not going to get behind that. And you're on your own. And so I kind of, had that choice, and I chose, door number one. I was like, yeah, I don't think I'm going to make a good starving actress. So like, who knows what would have happened if I went? But as soon as I had that opportunity to be supported and go after my dreams, that was the thing that I chose. And I dove, full on into my acting and did some more schooling and started to be, in national commercials, got my SAG card, built my own film company. But it was all well and good when I had my partner supporting most of it.
Right.
And then finally it was like, okay, we got divorced. And now I was on my own. And I was like, okay, I couldn't move to Los Angeles. I couldn't move back to New York because now we were in a marriage. We were both committed to co-partnering and parenting together, and he couldn't move. So I just went on this like 2-year tear of trying to figure out what my purpose was. Like now I didn't want to just get a job. Like I had been, reading the Oprah book club's books, right? The Seed of the Soul, the Celestine Prophecy. I was on my awakening, right? Like my awakening journey. And I was like, oh, wait, there's more. Like, it's not just about making money and having fun. Like now now I'm older. Now I'm ready to do something that has meaning and purpose. So that was right around the age of 35. And so I just tried so many different things. I think I started 6 businesses, made 6 logos, 6 websites, and had on my hands 6 failures because I was trying to create too many things at once, starting it all and failing at all of it. And I finally just ran out of time and money and energy. And I remember calling my mother through hysterical tears and just saying, like, I don't know who I am. I don't know what I want. And I hate that movie, The Secret. I made a vision board and none of it is coming true.
None of it.
None of it. And she said, there's this course that comes from Stanford University. They gave it to the 9/11 widows who, obviously had grief counseling, but when they were ready to reinvent their lives and get clarity and figure out what their next chapter was going to be, they took this 400 women and it was so successful. And I know the woman who, teaches others in this. And I was like, oh, okay. So I said, this is it. I threw my hands up, and it was the Clarity Catalyst.
Amazing.
And I took it as a student in 2007. And there I was, 37 years old. And I just was like, this is it. This is it. And she had asked me, put all these ideas in put everything on the shelf. And just for 8 weeks, let's go in and do this work. And I realized that, when I was starting all those companies, the problem was I was listening to what everybody else thought that I would be good at. Oh, you'd be great at being my photography manager. You would be great at running this non-for-profit with me. You would be great at, and I'm like, yeah. I'm saying yes to everybody versus, doing the work, going in, meditating, journaling, doing the soul searching of really, no, who am I? What do I want to contribute to this world versus just reacting off of what other people thought I might be good at. So out of that journey, it was an 8-week journey. Week 5, I just popped and I said, this is it. I want to become certified in this. And very quickly I did, and then put my head down and never looked back. That was my little beginnings.
Wow, that's such an amazing journey. And it's cool to hear your personal experience with the like profound feeling lost and then having that aha. I can totally resonate with numerous businesses, numerous logos. I'm good at all these things, but what is it that I really want to do? So I've taken the Clarity Catalyst. It was absolutely magical. Actually, when I was 37, which is really interesting. So it really changed my life as well. It ended the day before my birthday, which was so cool. And that huge solar eclipse. Anyway, that was last December, I guess. But yeah, so it was life transforming. And I'm just curious, like it focuses on mindfulness, emotional intelligence. There's a lot of self-growth factors. It provides tools. How can that help just anybody? How can mindfulness and emotional intelligence benefit someone's life?
Yeah. Well, I think the first thing that it does for everybody is give you self-awareness,
Mm.
Okay. It gives you the ability of self-observation. It gives you an access to step outside of yourself and notice, where am I self-sabotaging myself? What's working? What's not working? What are my patterns? Because a lot of times we're just on the hamster wheel. We're doing what we're doing when we're getting what we're getting, instead of going like, hold on a second, instead of getting up, going to work, coming home, watching Netflix, getting up, going to work, coming home, watching Netflix. Like, what if I interrupt that pattern because I'm not happy? I'm not dealing with the fact that I'm not happy, and I'm just living and working and living and working, right? So
Mhm.
what if I actually step off of that hamster wheel and self-observe, have an awareness about, do I even like the job that I'm in? Do I like who I'm sleeping next to? Am I happy in the town that I've chosen? Like, just asking those simple questions, or what could be my purpose? What could be a contribution? What could be I do differently that I jump out of bed every morning? Like, most people aren't given the context that that's actually even a possibility. We hear these adages like, well, you got to work hard, then you can retire, and then you can enjoy your life, right? And you can't, look at my father said to me, you can't do what you love and make money at it. You can't go be an actress. You will not succeed. I was told that, and I listened to that
Mm.
because that's what he was programmed to think. No fault of it. He was looking out for his daughter.
Right.
And so society and, programming and conditioning tells us that we can't do what we love and make money doing it. And so why even try to look for that? Just be miserable in your job and wait till you're 65, and then you can do what? Die? No, I'm just kidding.
Well,
I'm
some people do
50,
though. Some
but
people
some
do.
people do, right? And
And it's heartbreaking.
it is. And so anyway, self-awareness.
Okay. Self-awareness. Got it.
Ability, right. The other thing that it gives people is a different perspective.
Powerful.
And, there are always two perspectives or more, but there's the one that's going to keep you stuck, and then the one that's going to pull you forward. And none of them are right, right? Because facts are facts. Life is life. My students' lives don't change right away when they take my course. The only thing that changes is their perspective on their life, right? And so maybe they wake up and now they're at this 9 to 5 that they hate, and they're just like angry about it, but they graduate and they have this perspective of, you know what, wait a minute though, this is allowing me to have the finances to be able to work on myself simultaneously, to journal, to meditate, to start to figure out what it is next so that I can exit gracefully and with a plan. Wow, I'm so grateful for this job versus I'm stuck in this job. The job doesn't change, you do.
Right.
So the ability to shift your perspective on things that you can't always control, like the pandemic, right? You can either say this is the worst thing that could happen, or you're finding the silver linings in it. That's what my students, they're able to choose a belief system or perspective that's going to propel them forward versus keep them stuck.
Beautiful. That's so powerful. And so when it comes to, I heard you mention earlier this idea as getting out of college and things were just happening to me, like life happens, right? And then there was a shift, this profound moment where you started creating your life intentionally. Can
Yeah.
you just talk about really like the differences a little bit? You already elaborated on it, but like
Yeah.
elaborate a little bit more on what the difference is between life happening to you and actually intentionally creating it.
Yeah. So, obviously we know when life's just happening, we're just kind of like, like a ping pong ball that's just kind of going anywhere and everywhere. And then it may go into the bonus hole or it may not, and it may lose. And it's just like, you're not at the driver's wheel of your life. You're just kind of like in the backseat of the car, and wherever life's taking you, you're just kind of going, versus getting out. And before you even get into the car, sitting down and getting clear, about what does my life look like in the next month or the next year or the next 5 years? And how do I reverse engineer that? What are the things that I need to develop in myself? Who are the people that I need to bring in as allies to support support me so that I can create those goals and dreams, and it starts with clarity, which is why I love the course, because it's the clarity catalyst. We can't drive and get to our destination if we don't know where we're going. So it's like, what is that next chapter? And once you're clear on where it is, then you back it up and say, okay, what do I need to do first? And you start creating very systematic, intentions that you are connected to the why that makes you cry underneath it. It's not just like, I want $10,000. Why? So I can buy a home, or because I can, whatever, you get it. So it's clarity must come first, and being highly intentional about your life, and at the same time not attached to when there's an unforeseen detour in the road, and not going, oh well, this is going to take me off of my course. Well, maybe it's actually looks like things are falling apart and there's a detour, but that detour is taking you even to a better place that you never even could have imagined. But I think you need a map and a destination, at least, and then be open and have no expectations of how it all turns out, but at least have clear intention of where the first stop is.
Absolutely love it. Okay, so someone's feeling stuck, right? Someone listening, maybe even me, feeling stuck. What I hear you say, clarity is kind of the first step, right, of getting unstuck. What's the first step of finding clarity?
Getting quiet. We're looking for answers out here, and we are masters at distraction. We're going from Facebook to Twitter to online to working and shopping and eating and the Netflix and the socializing and the kids raising. And it's just like, we're just like all out here. And, a student will come to, well, I don't know what my purpose is. And I said, well, are you listening? Have you gone in? Have you just asked yourself versus, well, what do you think my purpose is? And what do you think my purpose is? And it's none of it's out there. It's all in here. We're all born with intuition, but they have shown scientifically that if you don't cultivate the intuitive muscle, you actually won't be able to access it. And the 3 best practices to increase your intuition, which is mistake-free, which is the ultimate clarity of like, who am I? What's my next step on my journey? What do I need to do first? I mean, all those answers are within. So when you shut off the noise, that's how you get there. But the 3 practices are meditation, journaling, and mindfulness, taking time alone in nature, which is why that is, the foundational tools of the Clarity Catalyst. Like for 8 weeks, everybody is meditating and they're journaling. They're turning off the outside, noise so that they can tune in, so that their wisdom comes out onto that blank page. So when they clear a space in their mind, that download comes in, or that upload of what needs to happen next, that there's a space. And to turn off all of the social media and, all of the distractions of technology, and go on a beach walk, go to a park, sit by the river. Like, nature is so good for balancing us and to clear space for wisdom that's already there, so that would be step 1.
Brilliant. Okay, so you run a lot of different other programs, and I've been in some boot camps and different things along the way, and they're always so transformative for me. So thank you for that. I want to give some gratitude for gratitude is due. But you have this program, Aging with Grace, and I haven't actually had the chance to attend, but I just look at you and you're so vibrant and full of life, and you look so fabulous. And I'm just curious, like, care to share any secrets with us? Just maybe one.
Sure. Yes. And I am 50. So I'm very proud of that. Some people are like, I'm not saying my age. Like, I'm so proud that I'm 50 years old. I feel like I've never looked better.
You look amazing.
Yeah. But I think the key to aging with grace is to live a life of purpose, to have something that you are lit up about, whether that is your work or some other passion in your life, that you're getting up every morning excited. That is so good for the soul, and it comes through. That inner glow comes out. inside of us. And, managing, there's so many incredible studies on what ages us, and stress is one of them. And if we are in high stress jobs, or even if we're mothers and we're working and we're not using stress management, skills to lower that cortisol and increase the serotonin, they'll look at two women, one that, they both have crazy lives, or they both had trauma, or they both had whatever, high stress. And the one that's meditating and journaling versus the one that isn't. The one that isn't is biologically 8 years older
Wow.
than the woman who is. You're aged 8 years. The other thing that ages us is sitting. Sitting is the new smoking. So we do a lot of studying of the blue zones and what are they doing? This is the places, there's in Sardinia and all these, Japan and really cool places around the world that people are, living without disease and so healthily, like past 100. Like, what are they doing? They get up and move every 20 minutes. So it's not like, we'll go hit the treadmill for an hour. It's like, don't, sit in front of your computer. And I'm a coach. I'm here, and so every hour and a half, boom, this goes off. No, it's not every 20 minutes, but I do what I can in my context.
Right.
And I dance. I have playlists. I dance in the middle of my freaking office with wild abandon for 5 minutes. And then I sit down, or I'll get up and I'll do, 10 sun salutations, or I'll go walk around the block. And every morning at sunrise and every night at sunset, I am walking on the beach. And I also do 20-minute HIIT workouts, so I move more than I ever have before I researched this, because I was a real because I love what I do. So I could just be here all day long on the computer.
Right. Yep.
So, and collagen is key. At the age of 29, we create our own collagen. It starts to decline. And that's what makes our skin sag and the gray, brittle hairs and the brittle nails and, the brightness in our complexion. So I drink collagen every day.
Amazing. Ooh, thanks for sharing. Really, really cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to dive deep a little bit into fear, because that's kind of my thing. So can you tell us about a time where you were really challenged or maybe really fearful in your life? Because, you're here now and you're incredibly vibrant. And like I said, so many accomplishments and power, and incredibly empowered woman, inspirational. I'm sure fear still comes up sometimes, but throughout your life, has there been moments where you were just terrified?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, fear, I think if you're not afraid, you're not playing big enough. Right. And so what used to scare me, like the first time I ever gave an introduction to the Clarity Catalyst, I remember I had 40 people in the room, and when you smile and your mouth twitches, and I was just like, oh, like upper lip sweat, boob sweat, like it was a disaster. I was so nervous. And I just did it anyway. And I think that's really what it's about. It's not waiting for the fear to go away. It's feeling the fear and doing it anyway, with heart beating and hands sweating and knees shaking. That's what a true thought leader is that they're willing to be uncomfortable, to put themselves out there and up there where they could fail, they could be ridiculed, they could be laughed at. But in the face of that, they're willing to risk failing, being wrong, looking silly, all of that rejection. They're willing to put themselves out there for others. And anytime the fear comes up for me, Lindsay, like more recently, a year and a half ago, it was like longer now, maybe 2 years ago, this November, I did my first TED Talk, and I'm backstage and it's just like, boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
It's freaking so scary, I mean, it's just, you can't flub a line because it's over, it's being recorded. It's a live audience, it's different. If I was just going out there and speaking extemporaneously, I could do it in thousands of people. But knowing that if you flub a line, it's hard to find it again. And it's 10 minutes of memorized content. And so it's a high pressure situation.
Yeah.
And, I'm back there and it's just like, I am frightened, and the only thing that is, staying with me is I just kept on saying, this isn't about you, Jen.
Yes, yes, yes.
Isn't about you.
Hmm.
Because, my talk was why mindfulness should be just as important as math in our school systems. And I'm like, you're doing this for the kids. So it didn't make the fear go away, but it was okay. It's okay to be afraid. You know, like I said earlier, so many people are waiting for the fear to go. Then I'll go live on Instagram. I'm waiting for the fear to go. Then I'll take the phone call. Like, no, just do it and be
Shake
in
it.
it. Yeah. And guess what?
Button.
After the first sentence came out of my mouth,
Yeah.
the fear was gone. It's always the leading up to. And, I was doing the calm palm and the 5 senses check in and I was breathing and, it is what it is. There's some things that mean a lot and it's scary, but you just do them anyway because it's not about you.
Just do it. I remember that was one of the most profound quotes during Clarity Catalyst. Don't
Yeah.
worry, just do it. Changed my life. I still have posted notes everywhere.
Yeah, like
So
don't think
thank you.
about running a show and doing a podcast. Don't talk about it till the cows come home. Like just do it. And if you're gonna just get better and better and better. Like if you go back and see some of my first stuff that I did, it's like horrendous. Who cares? Just get
Yeah.
better and better and better,
Yeah. And I think that that's the powerful thing about fear, right? Is like the more you do it, the more it dissipates, or it may come up, but it clears so much quicker. And it's like, okay, whew. And like you said, getting better and better and better each time, which is amazing. Hey, I want to hint on, we only have about 5 minutes left, but I heard you say, mindfulness for children in school. And I just wonder what a different world we would have if that happened. So how do you think that could transform, the world in general if children were taught mindfulness in school?
Well, I just think that we would see a lot less suicide.
Mhm.
The number two ways that children die is suicide.
Wow.
Okay.
It's insane.
Suicide. It's insane. So I think we would see that go down drastically. I think bully would going down drastically. I think that we would be living in a much more kind and compassionate world.
Mm.
I think that it would really change everything. So I am such a stand that every child gets this curriculum. And, we have this group of coaches that are growing. We have translated into different languages. We're getting into different schools. And, it takes a village and it may not happen, in 10 years. Maybe it happens in 20 years. I don't know. But I do know because of the pandemic that people are a lot more open to it because the anxiety is through the roof. And, they're finally going, all right, what is this mindfulness stuff? There are some districts that are actually making it mandatory that mindfulness is taught so that they have coping skills, socio-emotional skills to manage their emotions. I think, a lot of times the shootings are from other students. That goes right under the wire. Like, why aren't they catching that earlier? Because they're not talking to students and they're not giving them a space to share, and it just goes undetected. So yeah, I just think we would be living in a much more loving world.
Mm. Yeah. Wow. So incredibly important. And to start young. I mean, I can just imagine if I were raised or, in school, we were taught those things, how much maybe not easier life would be to navigate, but yeah, maybe easier is the word. You just have the tools, like you said, to get through it and process it, no matter how much trauma or challenge comes along. So very cool. Okay. 3 minutes ago, we'll end the interview here. I have one last question, and I just want to thank you so much for being on. It's been such a pleasure, and you're such an inspiration. So thank you. Last question. If you could leave us with one nugget of inspiration, wisdom that you've gathered from your life that you think is the most profound to share, what would it be?
I think it's to have extreme self-care,
Mhm.
to really put yourself first. And when you do that, you show up as a better mother, as a better partner, as a better coworker. You know, when you invest in yourself and take time every single day to put you first, whether that's a morning routine of walking or sipping your tea or doing some yoga or meditation or reading, and just starting your day and ending your day even with ritual and time for you,
Mhm.
you create so much more inner peace, and then you're able to be in the world differently. It's not what we're doing, it's who we're being. And I hear so many people, well, that's so selfish to take time out for yourself. And I would never go on a retreat and I would never do that for myself. Like, that's selfish. And I think it's the most selfless thing
Mm.
is to practice extreme self-care.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Amazing. So just to let everybody know, if you're interested in learning more about Jen, I'm going to put all of her links either above this video or below, depending on the platform. Also, her website is jennifergrace.com. So feel free to visit it and find out more about her. If you're interested in what I do and what I have to offer, or potentially being on the podcast, being an interviewee, check me out at findfearless.com. Jen, again, thank you so much. This interview, I had chills like 3 times with things that you were saying. So incredibly powerful, and grateful that you came on.
You are so welcome. And I also have a gift up there for everybody today. When you go to jennifergrace.com,
Yay.
Lindsay knows the Meet Your Future Self meditation. So it's up there. You can
Mhm.
just put your name and email. It's going to shoot you over a practice that comes from the Clarity Catalyst that catapults you 20 years into the future to meet the older, wiser, done that version of you. And so if you are unclear and you're not trusting your own advice or your own wisdom to yourself, sometimes it's easier to ask somebody else, but who better than to ask the older, wiser version of you? So if you go to my website, jennifergrace.com, you can receive that gift.
Powerful meditation. Powerful. I still use it to this day.
Love it.
All right, Jen. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Mwah.
So
And
much
I will,
love, everybody.
thanks.
Bye.